One of the biggest insecurities I've ever had to overcome has been the ability to take my shirt off in public and feel confident and feel good about the way I look. So I want to teach you how I was able to actually go from this insecure, skinny guy who never took his shirt off in public to finally showing you how you can do the same and how I was able to take my shirt off and be confident with how I look. I was that kid at the swimming carnival in high school who covered himself up. I used to wear a shirt, I used to be afraid to get in the water, and I used to pull the shirt off me when I was wet so that people couldn't see the sunken part of my chest. I had what's called pectus excavatum, kind of like where your ribs sink in, like you kind of have like a hollowed out chest and it looks like there's bone missing. I had that. And I was always insecure of it. And I remember a family friend asking my dad if I was even eating enough. I was that skinny, I looked that weird and that asymmetrical and that weak. I was just completely insecure, right? And fast forward now, I was in the Muay Thai gym the other day and the coach is squeezing my abs and he's squeezing my arms and he's asking the other guys if they're jealous of my abs and if they're jealous of my arms. And I was at a waterway the other day with my shirt off, completely careless, completely confident around a bunch of girls and friends, and I felt fucking confident. And the girls were even making pretty lustful comments about my physique. And there's going to be some people watching this who are instantly going to be thinking that the solution is just to stop caring about what others think. And whilst it's very easy and it seems very practical to say this and to not care about what others think and to just enjoy the body the way you are, well, if you relate to me on any degree, you're simply just not like this. I am not the type of guy who can just be okay with looking this way. I was never the guy who could just forfeit this negative belief in his head and just be accepting of how he looked. I'm the type of guy who is obsessive. I'm the type of guy who wants to be perfect, who wants to be better. So maybe for some people this will work, but for me, and maybe for you watching, like I said, if you relate, this shit eats you up inside and you will never be able to get the confidence. You will never be able to overcome this fear of taking your shirt off, of feeling confident, unless you have the results to prove it. There is no bypassing, there is no mental trick, there is no mental model that we can instill in ourselves. It is just simply the fact that we need to have the results and we need to have it proven in our own eyes before other people can believe it as well. We cannot delude ourselves into being confident. It's like those fat people who believe in the fat body positivity movement where it's just a complete cope. They can convince themselves, but you, me, we are not like that. We cannot. We have to have the real results to actually feel confident and to actually understand that we have what we wanted. We cannot just be okay with not having it. The only way I could get out of this was doing the opposite of being skinny, and that was to build an attractive physique, and that was to bulk up. And over the course of 4 or 5 years I gained 25 kilograms, changed my life forever, and I want to teach you how you can do the same. Only way out of this was simply to build a physique that was better than other people so that when I was around other people I wouldn't feel bad taking my shirt off. I had to associate some kind of ego with it because if you're like me again and you're not lying to yourself, you associate ego and competition with most things, if not everything in life. You want to be better than other people. You want to take what other people have. You want. It's simple as that. Anybody who says opposite is either soft or, they're just coping. I refuse to believe that guys aren't sitting here comparing themselves constantly to other people. So if I was in positions where I was the skinniest and I looked the shittiest, well, of course I'm going to be the least confident in those positions. So what did I have to do? I simply had to change my life and become better looking than most of the guys in these same situations and positions. So like I said, I did this by gaining 25 kilos and I stopped being a skinny geek. The reason I locked in is because of competition, and the reason I locked in was because of pain. You are probably going to have to be motivated by pain. Like I said, you cannot just cope. You cannot convince yourself that it's alright and that you don't care how you look, because that is bullshit. Pain is the motivator. Pain motivated me, and that's what got me into the gym. And what I did in the gym was building an attractive physique that completely got rid of this skinny look. And the way I did this was focusing on 3 aesthetic zones in my physique, those being the back, the midsection of the abs, and the shoulders. So what I did, I basically just trained. I remember back in the day, I trained lats consistently. I used to go in, I used to do lat pull downs nearly every single workout, really focused on building my lats because the lats will create width in your back. And if we're trying to become less skinny, that means we need to take up more space. The quickest way to take up more space without getting fatter and bloating this way out in the front is to become wider this way. And I did this training my back, lat pull downs, and what I recommend for you is to do pull-ups and lat pull downs as well, and a bunch of other back movements. Prioritize building width in your lats so you can achieve a V-taper physique, because that is what's going to be most attractive. And honestly, that is what's going to help you stand out, because even amongst guys that have good physiques, even amongst guys that are being in the gym and are training consistently, there are still guys that aren't building the right physique. They're not building the V-taper. So even if you're insecure and skinny right now, you will not have to do a whole lot to get to the point where you have a nice V-taper and suddenly you look more shapely than the other guys. And although you might not have a lot of mass, you still look proportional and you look great. And that's going to give you that confidence that you need. And once you pair that with bigger shoulders, it's just going to help you round out your whole physique and get like a bigger frame look, more dimensional look and shapely look, because we're going for geometry here. If we want to solve this problem, obviously it's going to take years. Obviously it's going to take dedicated training and consistency over a course of years. But if we want to fix the problem as soon as possible, and we want to actually feel confident taking our shirt off and not wanting to fucking off ourselves and not covering ourselves up and not feeling skinny, weak and frail and embarrassed, because that's how I felt, then we want the quickest solution. The quickest solution is to increase our width and create the illusion that we're bigger. We can do this by targeting our shoulders as well. And finally, we need to be working on our abs, because what I found is that if I was able to develop my abs and get a six-pack, these are the things that people's eyes are drawn to visibly and instantly as soon as they see you without a shirt off. Okay? If you're skinny and you have no abs and you're just flat and you have this like sunken chest appearance, this weak, poor posture appearance, well, that's going to stand out. But if we can develop the width and the shoulders, and then we can develop a strong midsection, a contrasting, stark midsection, not many people have shredded abs in 2026. So if you're walking shirtless, even if you are naturally a skinnier guy, if you've just put on a bit of size and you have a six-pack of abs, no one's going to be looking at your fucking, impurities and your imperfections in your body. They're going to be looking at the fucking shape of your body, the fact that you have abs, the fact that you have big shoulders. It's simple as that. So again, it's going to take years. It's going to take time. This isn't a quick solution. This isn't a, 1 month solution. I'm here to tell you that it is possible. You need to break the limiting belief in your head. You need to just go from skinny to aesthetic. And if you want to know the exact way on how to do this, how I was able to overcome all these limiting beliefs, all these training struggles, then you can check the link in the description for my community, my school, where I'll teach you how to go from skinny to jacked, how to actually overcome all these negative things in your life, and how to actually be less of a geek and be more of a real young man and actually get on self-development and improve your life forever. But with that being said, I hope this has helped you. Remember, the progress is purpose, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.